Good morning. Good morning. Love is the spirit of all souls. Whatever your beliefs, know that you are a gift inherently worthy of love. And we're glad that you're here. In this moment of our shared journey, may you feel witnessed and honored wherever you are on your journey. Let's take a minute now to greet your neighbors, especially new and returning folks. Thank you, Liz. So welcome again to all who are with us here in the moment and online, and those that will be catching us later on through our YouTube video. I'm serving as the worship associate today. I'm John Murphy, and I am joined by the Reverend Tondre, Director of Communications and Membership Coordinator. Gabe Herbieri is not with us today, but Liz Elsmore, collaborating pianist, is with us. Brunch brothers, Alan Schmidt, Ed Schote, and I must inform you that yesterday, after participating in Indy protest and arriving home, Ollie Howe had a minor stroke and had to go to the hospital. I don't have any updates at this time, but I know you join me in wishing Ollie a speedy recovery. So he's not with us today. And our senior minister, Reverend Katie Romano, is on sabbatical, and she'll return to the pulpit on September 14th. So we extend a warm welcome to people of all ages. If you have little ones, nursery care is available if that works best for you, if convenient. I would like to invite everyone to consider completing a connection card. You can complete a physical card and put it in the offering basket later, or you can use the QR code just outside the sanctuary and submit one electronically. This is a great way to let us know if you have an interest, that you have a concern, have a question, whatever you need to communicate to us. That's a good way to do it. So, what happened to those two big old trees outside? I hadn't been to the church in a couple of days, and as I drove up, I was somewhat sad that they had to go. But they had a fungus, and it was eating away at their cores, and it was highly transferable to other trees. So we consulted an arborist, and he determined that the trees needed to come down, and a window of time became available to do it. So off they went. I'm sure we'll replace them with something at some point in time. Today will be the second of the 4-week starting point class sessions. These are on the Sundays in June, and they'll take place after coffee hour, 11:30, in the BD room on the 3rd floor. And this is a great class if you're discerning membership at All Souls, or would just like a little more information about Unitarian Universalism. The sessions do build on one another, but you're welcome to join at any time. It's going to be well worth your time, even if you only come once. There's a whole lot of activities coming up in the next few weeks, and I would ask you to consult our weekly publication, In the Know, for specifics. And if you're not receiving In the Know, you can use a contact card to let us know that you would like to be added to the email list. And that's a great way to keep connected with what's going on at All Souls. As we begin our time together, we acknowledge the land itself and those who have sustained it through the generations. The Shawnee, Miami, Lenape, Kaskaskia, Kickapoo people were pushed from their lands, and their children have been stolen. And as we strive to be a community of justice, may we continue to make real reparations.
I give to you the words of Amy Jones. Today is Father's Day, so we take this moment to hold space for all that may mean to us. We hold love for those who have lost fathers and for those fathers who have lost children. We acknowledge and hold non-binary, transgender, and cisgender dads and families made of 2 dads, foster and adoptive dads, and single dads. We hold and work to lift up all fathers of color and those fathers raising children of color. We hold fathers kept apart from their children by borders and war. We hold fathers and children who have lost connection, children who have been disowned or abandoned by their fathers, and the father figures who step in. We hold those longing to become fathers. We hold those who may be full of questions about their biological fathers. And most importantly, we hold and thank the dads, the papas, the daddies, and all those who show up every day to give their all to the children who need them. Human relations are complicated. These days of recognition are complex. Please take a moment to breathe in what serves you and breathe out that which does not.
Good morning. I'm Jackie Surma, a member of the Children and Youth team. Nancy is off today. James Samuels will be lighting our chalice today. The ritual of lighting our chalice reminds us to continually renew our promise to live into our covenant, to put love into action, and to live out the community of love and justice we aim to be. Please rise and body your spirit as we share the words printed in our order of service in Spanish and English. If you are with us online, please let us know in the chat where you're lighting your chalice. We will speak the covenant in Spanish first. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y es el fruto de su ley. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en el amor y en el amor juntos es nuestro pacto. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
Please remain standing as you are able, and open your teal hymnal to 1051, please. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
I don't look much like Gabe, but I will tell you his words. Father figure, becoming a reference. When I was 18 years old, still a seminary student in Rio de Janeiro, I learned what it meant to be a father figure, not through biology, but through presence. As part of my training, I worked at a social project serving children from the favelas, the slums, where poverty was more than a lack of money. It was a lack of infrastructure, of stability, of dignity. Many families sent their children to the NGO not for education, but because it was a place they'd be guaranteed a meal. In this NGO, Arthur, an 8-year-old boy known as the problem child, would make lives of teachers really difficult for his erratic, offensive, and sometimes even aggressive behaviors. Some had given up on him, and others would still put the effort out of obligation. Due to my role as a ministerial intern in that system, I was able to have a different perspective. I was young and energetic about the work, did not have the commitment to any specific content, as I was not a classroom teacher, and still a sophomore in seminary studying education theories, psychology of child development, trauma, responsive education, music therapy, and doing internships for the sake of investigating and learning. I was able to lean into some of the cases I was seeing and discuss them with my superior in the seminary in our weekly meetings. It did not take long for me to observe that Arthur was a textbook case. a child with terrible behaviors due to lack of academic success and poor family education. It was the first time that I saw an 8-year-old child unable to read or write. He could only write his name. Following the guidance of my supervisor, I started to search for ways to change his story. Purpose, mastery, and autonomy, are the 3 pillars of successful education. The first step was to help Arthur find a purpose. I had conversations with him to change his perspective of himself, started to work on leadership skills, and convinced the NGO leadership to place him at the kindergarten class to help the teacher. This took a lot of convincing because the leadership was afraid the younger kids would start to mimic his behaviors. It took me the commitment to be with him at the class during my whole days at the project to make sure he is following the plan. The mastery started to come when I started to work on literacy with him so he could help the younger kids. The plan worked. He was learning how to read while helping the teacher. During this process, we had a chance to work on other important skills: how to express his feelings, how to listen, how to trust. His behavior changed drastically, and people started to see him and treat him differently. The real revelation came through his older sister, who shared pieces of their home life with me. Arthur had never known his father. His mother lived with 3 partners, and none of them claimed him as their own. According to the older sister, they would say things like, "I didn't put any faggot in the world." This child was growing up surrounded by adults that were supposed to be references, yet rejected in his own house. Judging by what I saw of the mother, she loved him and was willing to fight for him. Such a feisty woman. But due to generational injustices and lack of education, she was unable to give him the proper education a child deserves. I had the privilege to work with him for a whole year and to see his progress. Of course, the work wasn't done, but it was a good beginning. When my seminary internship ended in that location, and I told the kids, although most of the kids came to hug me, Arthur was the only one to cry. This kid that months before was completely inaccessible, offensive, the problem of the NGO, was now asking me why I needed to leave and telling me, "I'll miss you." Later, my mentor said something that stayed with me. You were his father's figure. Not because you replaced anyone, but because you showed him what it meant to be valued. At 18 years of age, I learned that fatherhood isn't about biology. It's about showing up. It's about refusing to let a child believe they are a problem in a world where so many are pushed down by poverty, by prejudice, by neglect. Our faith calls us to see the wholeness in people, to lift them up, and to help people understand that they matter. Arthur reminded me that love is not a noun, it's a verb. And sometimes the most sacred thing we can do is simply to bear witness to another person's humanity. May we all have the courage to be the father figures, the mother figures, the human figures this world so desperately needs. So at this time, if you would stand in body or spirit, and in the teal hymnal, we have number 1026, If Every Woman in the World.
If every woman in the world had her mind set on freedom, if every woman in the world dreamed a sweet dream of peace, if every woman of every nation, young and old, each generation, held her hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every man in the world had his mind set on freedom, if every brother stood with brother as a witness for peace, if every man of every nation, young and old, each generation, held his hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every leader in the world shared a vision of freedom, if every leader in the world shared a sweet dream of peace, if every leader of every nation worked for justice and liberation, holding hands out in the name of love, there would be no more war. If every nation in the world set a true course for freedom, if every nation raised its children in a culture of peace, if all our sons and all our daughters reached in friendship across the waters, refusing to be enemies, there would be no more war.
So it looks like this time you get me. We probably all know or have heard about the sometimes contentious relationship of fathers and sons. For many years, I was the target of my father's criticisms. I felt there was practically nothing I could do right. My play, my education, my hobbies, my later life choices all fell into the category of inadequate or just plain wrong. I tolerated my father's actions most often. I guess I loved the man for providing me a stable home and opportunities. I used his methods of child rearing as I raised my daughters as an example of how not to raise a child. For that, I thank him. It allowed me to be present for my daughters, to tell them I love them, to encourage them, to teach them without criticizing, and to love them unconditionally. It always bugged me that he expected so much of me. Then one day in his 83rd year, he gave me the key that opened my heart for the man. My dad served in the Pacific Theater during World War II as a Navy aircraft mechanic. In 83 years, he had never spoken in depth about his experiences during the war until, unsolicited, he told me this story. Once, at an aircraft repair depot on one of the islands in Hawaii, an incoming aircraft crashed and caught fire. My father ran to the plane and, seeing the pilot unconscious, tried to release the canopy. He was not familiar with this plane and could not find the release to get the pilot out. He ran back for a pry bar, but when he returned to the plane, it was engulfed in flames. He was held back and watched as the pilot burned. Then he said these words that changed everything. I killed that man because I didn't know how to get him out. With that, I realized why his overwhelming sense to know what to do things right, had been passed on to me in form of criticism. At that moment, I understood the man, my father. I understood what the war had done to him. I accepted him as he was and formed a new relationship with my father in that year before his death.
Please join me in taking a few moments to note that which is currently bringing joy or sorrow to our community. I would also like to try something a little different with you during these joys and sorrows and invite you, after I say each one, to say, "We stay with you in love." Today we hold Ollie and Barb Howe in our hearts as Ollie begins his path towards recovery. We stay with you in love. We also have a joy with Mickey and Hughes and Rex Anderson are celebrating the birth of their first granddaughter. Claire Jean was born yesterday afternoon in Chicago. We stay with you in love. We hold in our hearts those who show up at protests to fight for the rights of all, especially those facing brutality from police and other forces. We stay with you in love. We celebrate fathers in whatever form fatherhood takes. We stay with you in love. We also stay with those who for today proves difficult. We stay with you in love. Let us now hold a moment of silence together for the joys and sorrows in our hearts that are yet unnamed. And to all of those that are yet unnamed, we say together, we stay with you in love. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing, "Let the Life I've Lived."
So we're gonna sing this song, "Let the Life I've Lived." This is one we've sung before, but I'll go through the words with you, because I see some new faces this morning. So this one goes, "Let the life I've lived speak for me." And we say that again. "Let the life I've lived speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load." So let's say that one. "When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load." And then again, "Let the life I've lived speak for me." You got it. We're gonna change up the words a little bit, but I'll let you know how that goes. There's some other, stay with me. Those beginning words have a couple substitutions, but we'll get there. Ron's gonna help me out too.
Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I've lived speak for me.
Let's do "Let the friends I've made."
Let the friends I've made speak for me. Let the friends I've made speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the friends I've made speak for me.
Let the love I've shared.
Let the love I've shared speak for me. Let the love I've shared speak for me. When I come to the end of this road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the friends I've made speak for me.
Let's do a new one today in honor of Father's Day. How about "Let the lives I've shaped"?
Let the lives I've shaped
speak for me. Let the lives I've shaped speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down my heavy load, let the lives I've shaped speak for me.
My parents were both always there for myself and my siblings, serving as fine examples of how to live your life. Both parents added stability to my life growing up, through school and through my adult career and retirement. My father, Herbert Schmidt, developed abilities growing up on a farm in Bremen, Indiana. He served our country in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II and the Korean War. My parents built a home in Niles, Michigan, just north of South Bend, Indiana, on 2 acres with trees, hills, and a trout stream at the perimeter. It was an ideal environment for us, eventually 7 children, to grow up. I recall once all the children on the steps to the lower level watching a repairman servicing the spare refrigerator. That was the only service person I ever recall coming to the house. Dad was a fine example of capability, maintaining the automobiles, building the original house, in addition to the house that I helped with, and other clever projects as they were needed. I have experienced the joys of being a father myself with 2 children, Henry and Suzanne. It's a fulfilling process with a spouse to nurture and guide your children from the very beginning through to their adult lives. There are the time commitment strains early on with the persistent attention needs of a baby, progressing to increasing independence of a toddler, to children in school learning abilities, college for our children for advanced knowledge, and on into their independent, capable lives. As a bonus, if things go well, as in my case, there may even be grandchildren to interact with. You can experience joy through grandchildren's fresh eyes at many locations and experiences. Fathers, mothers, and children interacting in loving, supportive, positive ways is what the world needs more of. I am grateful for the generations before me and hopeful for the generations to come, shaped by the steady, caring presence of parents and grandparents.
This reflection comes from Ollie. I grew up in a patriarchal family. I'm aware of my white male privilege, habits learned in that system. Because of those learned behaviors, I feel vulnerable standing here talking about how fathers might transform. However, I am determined to listen and learn from folks who let me know when my male dominance displays itself. I recently took a class called Healthy Masculinity based on the book by Richard V. Reeves of Boys and Men. In it, he reveals data showing recent cultural changes in labor, education, and families. He argues that men are not thriving in these areas as much as women. Reeves finds evidence that the structure of our educational system is often more effective for girls, and boys sometimes require different intellectual and social structures to support their learning. He suggests that sometimes when boys start school a year later than girls, that can compensate for those differences. Nowadays, more mothers are working and job security has diminished as technology has transformed the labor market. A cultural image of fathers in the past was those who protected and provided for their families. The image of loud voices and muscles may no longer be as effective in disciplining and controlling. And for Black males, the disparities are even greater. The systemic injustices we hear about every day further destroy their roles in families. Reeve proposes specific solutions to the societal challenges men and families face. On an individual level, I wonder, can we, you fathers and men, learn to center on love in our roles in society, promote justice by listening, equity, treating everyone with dignity? To do so, we must make room for transformation for ourselves and the folks we're with. Let's embrace pluralism, allowing each person to share their beliefs without making judgment. Let's be inclusive, welcoming everyone into our lives, and let's be generous within, among, and beyond our circles of influence. This Father's Day, let's remember to care for one another by listening and welcoming.
So as I'm sure you know, every week we share our plate with an organization that shares our values. This week we are sharing the plate with Trinity Haven. This is an organization that aligns our UU values by providing safe and affirming housing for LGBTQ+ youth who are experiencing housing instability. So to contribute, you can give cash or check in the collection plate as it comes around. If you're online, you can go to allsoulsnd.org and click on Give to All Souls here. When giving online or by check, please specify as for your pledge or for Share the Plate. Thank you for your generosity in supporting the mission of All Souls and for continued love for one another and for this world. Morning offering will now be given and gratefully received. So in closing, I would offer these words of reflection by the Reverend Evan Carville Zemer. I believe in fathering. I believe in the radical idea that men have the full human capacity to nurture hair bows and baseballs, cooking and creativity, tools and tiaras, camping and dancing, snuggles and shrieks of delight. Too many fathers don't believe in their own fathering. Many are scarred by their own fathers to hear their hearts say otherwise. Too many have known fathers who, faced with quivering lip and tears, could only say, "Man up." Too many have known fathers who knew only yelling and hitting. Too many have known fathers who lost sight of their sacred role of protector and became tormentor. But I believe in fathering. When a human being gestates and gives birth, their brain changes permanently. A father's brain changes permanently too. Changes as he rocks his baby to sleep, delights in baby games, and soothes bumps and bruises. A father earns his neurobiology. In a world where too many mothers hand their co-parent directions more specific than those given to the babysitter, a father out with his kids is asked, "Are you babysitting? And where's mom?" Where fathers are the punchline. I believe in fathering. I believe in the radical idea that men have full human capacity to nurture. Whether children come through birth, adoption, or fostering, through scouts, sports, Sunday school, or youth group. I've known too many gay dads, too many single fathers, too many men raising children others couldn't, to believe otherwise. I believe we all, especially our children, deserve to know that the human capacity to nurture belongs to every one of us. I believe in fathering. I invite you now to rise in body or spirit as we sing our final hymn of the morning, 1054, "Let This Be a House of Peace."
Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of freedom,
of nature, human dignity that will guide us. Let this be our house, platform for the free voice. All our sacred differences here shall not divide us. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house seek truth, where scientists and mystics abide in reverence here. this be our house, house of our creation, where works of art and melodies consecrate the atmosphere. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a house of peace. Let this be a